Okay, sir. Actually, we had a class.
Okay, I'm going to talk about matrix representation of linear transformation. Matrix representation of linear transformation. This is my today's topic. And I must say that this topic is so important for the realization of all the subsequent topics of the book and of the syllabus, be it eigenvalues or eigenvectors, or be it something about inner product space or whatever. The rest of the topics of the syllabus on vector space or on linear algebra is based upon the concept of this matrix representation of linear transformation, and it is very, very important. To start with, I will define what do we mean by the ordered basis. First of all, the definition of ordered basis is actually very important. So the definition goes like this: let V be a finite dimensional vector space and in this particular syllabus we'll only talk about the vector space which are finite dimensional. We'll not talk about any vector space which are infinite dimensional. Infinite dimensional vector space are not easy to study, and these are beyond the scope of our syllabus. Infinite dimension means you have a basis of the vector space which has infinitely many elements. What do we mean by infinite dimension? Infinite dimension means we have some vector space V for which a basis beta exists. Beta is the basis. Beta is the basis for this vector space V. V is the vector space. Okay, and the number of elements present in beta, number of elements present in beta is infinite. You know, the number of elements present in the basis is actually known as the dimension. So if beta contains the infinitely many elements in it, then we will say the dimension of V is actually infinity. And there are examples of such vector space. Say, for example, if I talk about the vector space of which is called PF, which is set of all polynomials, of any degree. Okay, any degree whose coefficients are taken from the field F, then you know that such a polynomial is expressed as 1 plus x square and so on. So this sort of polynomial will exist. In the set of PF. So actually it has, these coefficients are actually the basis, and therefore there are infinitely many real numbers. If you talk about real coefficients, then there are infinitely many real numbers, and therefore the basis contains infinitely many elements, and therefore dimension of PF is actually infinity. But here, whenever we'll define something, we will talk about the finite dimensional vector space. Okay, so this is the first thing that you have to note down. We'll never talk about infinite dimensional vector space. So suppose V be a finite dimensional vector space, an ordered basis for V is a basis for V endowed with a specific order. Such a basis is actually called ordered basis. That is an ordered basis for V is a finite sequence of linearly independent vectors. Independent vectors in V that generates V. So this is the definition of ordered basis. For example, if I talk about Fn, if you go to the first chapter of the book, Fn is a vector space, you know very well. And the basis of Fn, if you can recall, the basis of Fn is given by this particular set, E1, E2, dot, 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 En. Okay. And this as a special case, if I talk about R2, because you know F is R and N is 2. If I talk about R2 space, that is two-dimensional vector space, then correspondingly the basis will contain two elements only, which is E1 and E2. And you know that how this basis looks like. This basis actually looks like 1, 0 and 0, 1, because every element falling on the two-dimensional plane can be expressed as linear combination of these two elements. And therefore this basis is actually called the standard ordered basis of the vector space R2. It is called standard ordered basis of the vector space R2. Okay. And similarly, if we consider the set, say for example, if we consider PNF, these two vector spaces are so important. Most of the time, actually, I discuss about these two vector spaces. These are very important vector space. Another important vector space is M n cross n f. This is another important vector space, you know. So if I talk about PNF, which is the set of all polynomials of degree less than or equal to n, set of all polynomials of degree less than or equal to n. So as a special case, if I talk about P2R, the set of all real polynomials of degree less than or equal to 2. So in this case, the standard ordered basis will be 1, x, and x squared. For this PNF, this basis will be 1x, x squared, dot, 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 x to the power n. For M n cross n f, the standard ordered basis will be of the form, I once told you, it will be of the form 1, 0, 0, 1. Say if I talk about a special case, say for M2 cross 2R, for simplicity, I am considering the special cases, because otherwise I have to write a square matrix of order n. So I'm taking a square matrix of order 2. I could have taken any rectangular matrix defined on a specific field, but I'm just giving you some examples of standard ordered basis. So this is the one element. The another element is 0, 1, 1, 0. The second element is 0, 1, 0, 0. The third element will be 0, 0, 1, 0. And the fourth element will be 0, 0, 0, 1. So this will be the standard ordered basis of M2 plus 2R. Why these things are called ordered? It is because of the following reason. So for example, if I talk about the beta, this particular basis, you see, when I talk about the elements 1, 0, and 0, 1, so in the ordered pair, we first consider 1 and then 0. And then 0 takes the position and it interchanges. So next, 0 takes the position of 1 and 1 takes the position of 0. So it is a kind of sequence, a proper sequence is being maintained, 1, 0, and 0, 1. Similarly, here we have 1 where power of x equal to 0 is x. We can treat 1 to be x to the power 0. So here first x to the power 0 is coming, then x to the power 1 is coming, then x square is coming. Here you see the movement of 1. 1 is residing in the first position, that is 1, 1 position. Then it is shifting to the second position, that is 1, 2 position. Then it is shifting towards third position, that is 2, 1 position, then 2, 2 position. Some kind of some kind of movement is there. Okay, so sequence, some kind of sequence is being maintained, and therefore these are all of these bases are ordered basis, and these are actually standard ordered basis. Okay, so this basis, the following basis you need to always remember. When we talk about the matrix transformation of matrix representation of the linear transformation, if you forget about the basis, then you will not be able to identify the matrix representation. Matrix representation of linear transformation is actually very important. Quickly take the screenshot of this, because I'm going to give you the first definition of the matrix representation corresponding to some linear transformation in the next page. The next definition that I'm going to give you is the following. So the definition goes like this. Linear algebra is a topic where you don't have to hurry. You have to be very careful what you read and what you study. Each word actually counts. So if you think that you can finish the course in a hurry, then you will be in a trouble at some point or other in the subsequent chapters. So you have to be very methodical while studying linear algebra. So let beta is equal to u1 u2 dot 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 un be an ordered basis for a finite dimensional vector space, for a finite dimensional vector space V, for x belongs to V, let a1 a2 dot 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 an be the unique scalars, such that we can represent x as a linear combination of these vectors a1 u1 plus a2 u2 plus dot 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 plus an un. Suppose we can express any vector of V as a linear combination of these vectors residing in the basis beta. Then we define the coordinate vector. We define the coordinate vector relative of x, coordinate vector of x relative to beta, relative to the basis beta. This particular part is very important. With respect to what basis you are actually studying, that is actually very important. So with respect to the basis beta, denoted by, we'll denote this particular coordinate by this symbol x written inside a third bracket, and we'll mention the basis with respect to which you are going to find the representation. So it will be denoted by this, and it will be defined as the following. What we will do, we will consider each coefficients a1, a2, an here, and we'll write them column wise, not row wise. This is the definition. This is the way by which it has been defined. So this is the coordinate vector of x relative to beta. So for example, okay, I will come to that point later on. So suppose we can cite one example at this point. Suppose, okay, before that I'm going to give you another definition, and we'll try to relate this to definition with one another. So if we consider this definition as definition 1, my definition 2 will be the following. Okay, so my definition 2 is the following. Both the two definitions are actually connected to one another. So suppose let beta be an ordered basis for an n-dimensional vector space V over F. Okay, the standard representation the standard representation of V, of the vector space V, with respect to the basis beta is the function which will denote by phi beta, and which will be defined from the vector space V to another vector space which is Fn, defined by phi beta of x is nothing but the coordinate vector of x with respect to the basis. So this is where we have defined the coordinate vector of x with respect to the basis corresponding to a vector space. And now I am saying that if such a vector space indeed exists, then we can define a function from the vector space to the set of column vectors, which is also a vector space, and where this coordinate vector representation is nothing but the image of the element of the vector space on which the function is operating. So now just look at the definition 1 and definition 2. We will see that the definition 1 and definition 2, these two definitions are actually connected to one another. Okay. Now I'm going to give you an example. Okay. So I hope that you have copied it, or you have taken the screenshot. So, okay, I missed one page. So I will write in the second page here, page number 2. This is my page number 2. Remember, and this is my page number 1. So if you are maintaining the sequence, so remember this is page number 1 and that is page number 2. Now in between I missed one blank page is there. So here I am going to cite my example. My example, which will connect the two definitions, is as follows. So suppose let my vector space is R2. My vector space is R2, and you know a particular vector space can have many bases. So suppose beta 1 is one basis which is given by 1001. This is one basis of R2, and this is number 1. And number 2, another basis is there, beta 2, which is 1, 2 and 3, 4. Okay. Now we have previously discussed about this particular basis many a times. Let's talk about this basis. First of all, let us check. This is a very simple checking that I'm going to make over here. The checking is as follows. I'm going to see whether this vector, I do not know whether beta 2 is indeed basis or not. So they are claiming that it is a basis of
beta
R2.
2 cannot be the basis.
Why?
Sir, something has to be 0. I mean, we discussed last day that beta 1, I mean 1001 is the basis for R square.
That is the standard ordered basis, but beta 2 is not a standard ordered basis. Beta 2 is any basis. Let's just check. I'm claiming that beta 2 is a basis. So first of all, we need to see that whether beta 2 is linearly independent or not. So for which my first checking is to check beta 2 is Li. Okay. Now this I want to check. So we'll let two scalars A1 from and A2 from R, because R is the field which is on which the vector space R2 is defined, such that A1 into 1, 2 plus A2 into 3, 4, this must be equal to 0, 0. And we need to show that individual, this case is going to happen only when individually A1 is 0 and A2 is 0. So now if I apply the scalar multiplication, we'll see that A1, 2 A1 plus 3A2, 4 A2 this must be equal to 0, 0. And suppose from this what we can derive is the following: a1 plus 3a2 is equal to 0, and 2a1 plus 4a2 is equal to 0. Now you are going to solve the following system of equation 1 and 2. So what value will come? So if I multiply 1 by 2 and subtract from 2, so what we'll get? We'll get equation 1 multiplied by 2 will get 2a1 plus 6a2, which is equal to 0. And if I subtract, we'll get minus 2a2 equal to 0, which implies a2 equal to 0. And consequently, I'm writing here, I do not have space, so I'm writing in this particular position. So consequently, what we get, therefore, since a2 is equal to 0, putting it in any equation, we will get a1 equal to 0. So we see that these two vectors, when taken into consideration and multiplied by the scalars a1 and a2, if their linear combination is the origin, then these two vectors must be individually, these two scalars must be individually 0, and this is what we actually call as linearly independent. So the vectors 1, 2 and 3, 4 are actually linearly independent. Now the next thing is that whether we can span any particular element of the vector space R2 as a linear combination of these two or not. So what you need to do here, this is the first part. The second part we need to show is the following: whether beta spans R2 or not. Anybody saying anything? Not understanding any part, you can ask me. You can unmute yourself and you can ask me. Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Now, what are the conditions that a particular set is basis or not? First condition is that the beta 2 must be linearly independent. And second condition is that beta 2 must span the vector space. The condition of linearly independentness is that if anybody is not understanding this part, the particular calculation and the conclusion that I have observed, it's because the previous pages, the calculations, the exercise we have not done, which you are actually you are supposed to do, but we have not done it. So that's why if anybody is not understanding anything, many times I have repeated. So this is because of your problem that you have not done the calculations. I'm again repeating that to show that a particular set is a basis or not, we need to first of all check whether it is a linearly independent set or not. If we want to claim that beta 2 is linearly independent set, then we need to show that the vectors present in beta 2 must be linearly independent. And by definition of linearly independentness, we need to consider two scalar quantities on which the vector space is defined. We will take the linear combination of the vectors. We'll equate them to 0. 0, 0 is the origin, which is the 0 vector of R2 space. We will solve the system and we'll find that this possibility only comes when individual scalars are 0. By definition, 1, 2, and 3, 4 are linearly independent, and therefore beta 2, this set is linearly independent. Because there is an important result in the previous chapter which says that if the elements of a set are linearly independent, the set is a linearly independent set. Second, you want to show that any vector of R2 can be expressed as a linear combination.
Sir,
Yes.
if that it's not equals to 0, then it is not basis.
If you can find that A1 and A2 are not 0, suppose A1 is coming out as 0 and A2 is coming out as minus A1. So A2 is dependent on minus A1. Say for example, if I consider these two elements, say X and Y, X minus Y equal to 0. You know that X and y, these two vectors are dependent on one another. If y equal to x, then x minus y equal to 0. So you cannot say that x and y are linearly independent. But if the only possibility of the thing is that if you put the scalar to be 0, then only it becomes 0. One particular scalar is not dependent on the another scalar. Then we call this particular set of vectors as linearly independent vectors. So they must be individually 0. If they are not, then the sets are called linearly dependent, or the vectors are called linearly dependent. Understood? Now your job is to
Yes, sir.
now
Yes,
your
sir.
job is to check whether beta 2 spans R2 or not. What do you mean by the word span? Span means if you consider any element X from R2, then this particular set can be expressed as a linear combination of this particular vector in R2 can be expressed as a linear combination of these two vectors 1, 2, and 3, 4. So we want to check this particular result. So say for example, we are changing the notation. We are considering V to be the vector of R2, so that is any arbitrary vector, so that V, the vector V will look like X comma Y, a type of coordinate which having some coordinate point because it is belonging to R2. Now we want to find out two scalar quantities. Say for example, let A and B be two real numbers, two scalar quantities, so that X comma Y is A into 1 comma 2 plus B into 3 comma 4. So what we are trying to get here is that we want to express this particular arbitrary vector V as a linear combination of these two vectors. If we can show that it is this is the linear combination, this can be expressed as a linear combination of these two vectors, we will say that, and since X and Y are arbitrary, so V is arbitrary, so we'll say that any vector of R2 can be spanned by beta 2. So this is very simple. You have to solve the equation only. So we get A comma 2A plus 3B comma 4B. And if I equate this, we will find A plus 3B is equal to X and 2A plus 4B is equal to Y. Okay, so we have got two equations. So let us give them a number. This is equation number 3 and this is equation number 4. Now, as before, we are going to solve it. So we are going to multiply equation number 3 by 2, and that will give us twice A plus 6B into twice X. And if I subtract this equation 5 from 4, what will you get? We will get minus 2B is equal to Y minus twice X, and B is equal to twice X minus Y by 2. So we have got an expression of B. We are able to find the expression for B in terms of X and Y because we know the values of X and Y because these are arbitrary coordinates. So we can express, now we can put B in equation 3 or equation 4, and we can get, similarly, we can get the expression for A. So putting the value of B in equation 3, say, we get A plus 3 into twice X minus Y by 2 is equal to X. And your job is to find the expression for this particular. You have to calculate it. You will get a kind of expression for A also. So what is important is the fact is what is important here is the following fact, that considering any arbitrary vector V from which is belonging to the two-dimensional space, whose coordinates are x and y, we can always express this particular vector as linear combination of these two elements, 1, 2, and 3, 4. And therefore, combining the methods which I've described in 1 and which I've described in 2, combining these two methods, we can immediately say that, now I'm going to write here, combining the methodology described.
So maybe the previous page once again.
Yeah,
Previous page.
described. Yeah, I'm showing you. 2. This is the page. This is my page number 3 actually. This is my page number 3. So it starts from here. This is the first part. Then you come to this part. This is part 1 where I started. Then this is part 2. And this part is part 3. Okay. Can I go to the next my next page?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank
So
you, sir.
combining the methodology described in 1 and 2, we see that beta 2 is Li, which spans R2, and so beta 2 is also a basis. Beta 2 is also a basis, but it is not a standard ordered basis. My standard ordered basis is this one, 1, 0, and 0, 1. Because why? Because this here no sequence have been maintained. Here 1, 0, and 0, 1. This 1, 2, this vector, if you individually treat this vector 1, 2, this can also be expressed as a linear combination of this 1, 0, and 0, 1. So 1, 0, and 0, 1 is the standard ordered basis of R2, but 1, 2, 3, 4 is any basis of R2. A particular vector space may have many bases. Remember this particular fact. It is written in the book. If you have studied it, then you have probably seen it. So beta 2 is also a basis. I'm not going to talk about beta 1 because it is already known to us. My objective is not about finding out. My objective was not to show how to show that a particular set is a basis or what. My objective is to talk about the standard representation of the vector space with respect to different bases. Now, suppose we are considering the standard ordered basis 1, 0, and 0, 1, whose checking has not been done in the class. According to the definition, now and suppose let say we are considering any vector, say 1, -2. This is a vector that I'm choosing from R2. This is my choice. You can consider any other vector as well. Now you see, with respect to this basis and this particular this particular vector 1, -2, 1, -2 can be expressed as, this vector can be expressed as 1 into 1, 0 plus -2 into 0, 1. We can always express this particular vector with respect to this basis element. Okay. Now see this definition carefully. Look at this definition carefully. What it is written. If we can express any vector x with respect to the basis elements as a linear combination of these basis elements, a1 u1 plus a2 u2 plus an un, then the coordinate vector of x with respect to relative to the basis beta will be the matrix which is column matrix, where the coefficients will take the coordinates. A1, A2, An will come as column wise. So with respect to the given definition, my x, the coordinate vector of x with respect to beta will be 1 and -2. This is the actual representation of the coordinate vector in two-dimensional vector space. But for simplicity, we write it as 1, -2 simply. But this is the actual representation with respect to the basis. Now this coordinate vector representation will change. This coordinate vector representation will change when, if I change the basis. Suppose my basis, as I have already shown, this was my beta 1. Now suppose I am considering the basis 1, 2, and 3, 4. In the previous page, I have already shown that this is a basis. Okay, I took some time to show you that this is a basis. Now, with respect to this basis, suppose if you are choosing the vector 1, -2, which is in R2, then how can I represent 1 and -2 with respect to these two bases? What will be the scalar quantity? So tell me, what will be multiplied with 1, 2, and what will multiply with 3 and 4? What will come over here? Quickly do this calculation and tell me. So if I want to express 1, -2 with respect to this basis beta 2, what will be the value of the scalars? What will be this scalar, which will be multiplied with 1, 2, and what will be this scalar, which will be multiplied with 3, 4? Tell me.
Sir, A equal to -5, B equal to 2.
A equals to -5 and B equals to 2. And therefore, the coordinate vector of X with respect relative to beta 2 will be -5 and 2. And this is with respect to beta 1. Please join in the next session. We'll continue in the next session.